Okay, so we're going to do number 6 on the circuits problem set for IB. And the problem which I have written up here is a 40 ohm resistor and a 60. That is not what I have written, never. Yeah, sorry, I didn't write all of it up. A 40 ohm resistor and a 60 ohm resistor, sorry, are connected in parallel, and the combination is connected across a 120 volt line. So the first question they're going to ask is, what is the resistance of the parallel combination? So the equation when a circuit is connected in parallel for the total resistance is 1 over total resistance equals 1 over resistor 1 plus 1 over resistor 2, dot, 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 however many resistors you have. In this case, we only have 2 resistors, and they're 40 ohm and 60 ohms. So this turns into 1 over R equals 1 over 40 plus 1 over 60. And if you solve for that, means 1 over R equals 1 over 24. So the total amount of resistance equals 24 ohms. Good. Okay, so that's part 1. The next part of this problem is, what is the total current through the parallel combination? So we already know the total amount of resistance, and we know the total amount of voltage. So to solve for the total amount of current, we just use the overall equation. We don't need to worry about it being in parallel. And the equation we're going to use for this is V equals RI. So the voltage equals resistance times current. So we know that the voltage is 120, and we know that the resistance is 24. So we're going to solve for I. And when we divide all of this through, we find that 5 equals I. So that's the total amount of current. So finally, the last part of this problem that I think is the trickiest is, what is the current through each resistor? So the only key part of information that you really need to know for this is that the voltage stays constant. It doesn't matter that it's in parallel. So the total amount of voltage is going to be 120 through all of this. And we know that resistor 1 is 40 ohms and resistor 2 is 60 ohms. So if we use this equation and we reorganize it to solve for I, we see that I equals V over R. So like I said, V is going to be 120. So let's say for I1, first resistor, V is going to be 120, and R is going to be 40. So the first current is going to be, I would solve for 3. The second resistor, again the voltage is 120 and the ohms are 60. So I2 equals 2. An important thing to note right now is that when circuits are connected in parallel, the amount of current that goes into the parallel circuit needs to be the same that comes out of it. So there's 3 and there's 2, and those both add up to 5, which was the total amount of current that we solved for earlier in this problem. So that was this problem. I hope that this helped, and circuits are cool.